Yeah, they joined our group.
Alright, get this started as soon as possible.
Right, ready to get underway now. Right in the cutoff. Right in the cutoff, probably get penalised for taking too long. Anyway, I suspect this will be a pretty straightforward match. Have we got the map wrong? 1 second, sorry. Yeah, I got put in that as well. I think everyone must. Wouldn't be proper tag game without the group system fucking up, I reckon. Alright, I'll try this again.
This looks like it'll work.
Headshot. Sit down. Stand up. Pass out. Wake up. Fade it. Fade it.
Alrighty, did look at your screen now, fellas. Because we are getting underway with the new game. Steven Seagal vs Ballbusters. Ballbusters, of course, the favourite to win this one. Not just because of the core lineups, but also because of the fact that they've had a lot more practice going into this round on a map which frankly requires quite a bit of practice in order to perform well. Don't think it'll be so much of a blowout as the Cat-22s and Flag Bearers game was, going 11-3 I believe in the end to Flag Bearers. Also interesting to see that Steven Seagal, of course they haven't really quite sorted out their starting lineup yet, as Acti gets a really nice handoff from Letty to kick off the game, coming into the base, 2 to beat, not quite getting in quick enough. Just a bit of nerves from the start of the game, but Steven Seagal haven't quite worked out their lineups yet. Next game looking like Vexation and Skent are to play offense together against the core starting Dokugan and Majestic Moose on defense. Vex got a chance to come in for the cap to get the early lead as the underdogs for the game. Backs up a little bit. Got to be really patient making a pass. It's a really structured, you can see that defensive formation at the moment already is really structured. Letty and Nigel rotating with Whiskey Jack. So that formation was really, really good to force Vexation to get back, but Vexation does as a tag pro, should be an escort, should lead to a quick first cap of the game, it sure does. A minute 15 into the game, Majestic Moose ahead of 3 with the Juke Juice, and still that tag pro in base. Acti's got to get that clutch hold, doesn't quite. That's 2 quick caps for the Steven Seagal side, the underdogs. It's a good confidence boost. I think Klosek mentioned in his chronicle that it might be a bit of a threat for Ballbusters. Complacency would be the biggest, so it was the word that he used. Maybe some of that's starting to show a little bit now. Scan going for a risky solo grab. Really shouldn't have necessarily gone for that by himself. That being said, not necessarily a bad idea to get a quick risky grab just before the pups respawn. Activation works nicely to get past Dokugan, not quite Majestic Moose. There's the power-ups respawning. The double flaccid will give the power up to Dokugan. Tag Pro could be exactly what they need. Scan not quite managing to get past that syzygy of Ballbusters defenders. Fixation a little bit hasty as well. So this is a really good start from Steven Seagal to be able to get those caps. It wasn't necessarily just because of a bit of a fumble from Ballbusters, although there was a little bit of that, but they did have some good offensive teamwork and some good pub control in particular. It was that tag pro that got him one of those caps and a Juke Juice that got him another, which is incredibly helpful. A power up goes a long way on a map that's so small like this one. So just not running into a spike, Letty. He'll cringe at that when he rewatches it, I'm sure. Scan out of base, might go for a kiss, not quite. Activation just needs that return for the cap, doesn't quite come soon enough, just half a second too late. A kiss from Majestic Moose gives Dokugan a Juke Juice and a flag. Can't drop now though. Vex isn't even on regrab. Playing more defensive than anything. There you go. If you just watch those defenders, you can see such a stark contrast in the way that both teams try to shut down a regrab train and try to get a reset between the Ballbusters just being a lot more structured. They're forming their walls, they're working together and using their teammate as a tool rather than just pushing up and going for a solo return, whereas it's probably just lack of experience playing together. Activation comes in, looks for a split blocks, really good blocks from Letty and Nigel to get another cap there. Or their first cap on the board, sorry. But just those that different between Steven Seagal just not quite having the experience, not playing together enough, not having the chemistry quite there yet. Activation and Whiskey Jack with a Tag Pro Juke Juice deadly combination coming into the base, out of position. Steven Seagal in a close clutch, going for the return with that bomb. Doesn't quite make it work because of those 2 Tag Pros. There's the pup control, there's the Ballbusters back in business. Activation goes Flag Pro. Should be able to use it to get a handoff if he can't make it out on his own, which he can't. Letty barely making it past Dokugan. Vexation barely making it past Whiskey Jack through the gates. Not going to make that work. Nor is Letty. Skin gets on that button just in time. Some risky plays. Good offensive plays there. Just as I was going on about the defensive structures, those were some really good offensive plays from Letty on one end of the pitch and Vexation on the other. Almost being able to turn that. But that's 2-all now. And again, what that was for the Ballbusters to get those caps was the power-ups. They had the Whiskey Jack in activation with the Juke Juice and the Tag Pro combination to get a really solid escort that was pretty much unstoppable. And then the other cap, which was a result of 2 Tag Pros being on defense. Nigel and Letty, I think that was. It's just the pub control playing such a key role in this. Vexation misses the grab, gets a kiss on the Tag Pro anyway. Activation can't cap today. Dokugan's going to get returned. Skent's going to get returned on, I think that was Letty as well though, so unfortunately that's not going to be a cap for them. Could have been a good opportunity for it. Down a little bit, I think this is the first proper reset since that big barrage of cap opportunities from both sides. Good block from the Steven Seagal off end of Vexation to try and get Scan past, but couldn't quite get there in the end. Letty ahead, not anymore, backing up. Again, just watching that formation's just not there. They're just not playing all as a team. They did converge on the flag well there though, so credit to them for that one. Activation with the rolling bomb has only got to get past, well, no one anymore. They switched out of position just as I was going on about that. Again, there's tag pros, there's power-ups. Letty out ahead, easy cap for him. There really wasn't much contention there to make that one work. Majestic Moose, bomb's not going to quite be enough force. Nigel getting a nice solo return, racking up his return statistic, which already is considerably higher than the rest of the field. One thing I do like seeing in these kind of games is seeing his activation almost gets a really nice escape. How that for every team in the season, bar cap 22s, has their fourth player being a minors player, and it's really interesting to see how they're all kind of how their minors playstyle is being applied and how it's working, or how well it's working or isn't working for that matter. In majors, Skent was a majors player towards the end of the season for pretty unfortunate reasons, but is probably otherwise a minors player, top end minors player, as is Nigel. But they're both really holding their own in majors this season, getting some good stats and getting some good individual plays that maybe aren't even reflected. Whiskey Jack's lagged out. That's going to be a substitution. Who are they bringing in? Almost gets a split, does Scan. Okay, so that wasn't a sub, that was just refreshing. Majestic Moose coming in. While that change was happening, that 3v4, Majestic Moose comes in, capitalizes, gets a cap, puts himself on the board. Adds 2 caps to the defender Majestic Moose so far this half. If you do look at the stats, you can see the Steven Seagal's offense just really isn't quite doing too well. 13 grabs for Skent, 12 grabs for Vexation, and none of them are able to get above a minute of hold time. It's a really low hold per grab, a lot of flacids. Letty makes it nice to get past Vexation and get into the base. Not quite, misses the flag tile actually. He had an opportunity to get that cap. Dokugan was completely out of position, but he missed the flag tile entirely. Let's see if we can have a, this is a kiss, let's have a quick listen to Steven Seagal to see what kind of communication is going on in that channel.
That's a good kiss. Okay, I'm on ready. Pushing in left. Oh, hit 3! Oh, Vix! Oh shit, dude, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. That sounds like me. Okay, I might be hitting a couple. Ah! Ah! Skip! Run! Run! Oh my god. Run! Run! Oh shit! Okay, return! Okay, just don't get off there, Moose. Ah! Okay.
I think that that link was actually bugging out a little bit. It does it sometimes, can only listen to one of the players, but I'm glad it was Dokugan of all the players that it could have been. Some good talk, some good communication from Dokugan. Bit of dim sounds maybe rubbing off on him a little bit. It's had a good day. 5 seconds left of the half. It's going to finish a much closer half than I think a lot of people anticipated. Pipe control was definitely, I think, what brought Steven Seagal into the game as much as they did. But when it just comes to their formation, when it comes to working together as a team, they're really just quite not cutting it. They're all individual players, whereas Ballbusters, I mean Whiskey Jack and Letty have 2 or 3 seasons together. Activation and Letty have played together before. Activation and Whiskey have played together before. So they've all got a lot of intuition in their partnerships, and as a whole, really. Whereas I don't think, apart from Dokugan and Majestic Moose, who have actually been rotating together decently when the flag is in base, they really just don't have much experience together or ability to cooperate. Steven Seagal's asking to wait for a little bit before we go into the next game. Might be a moment. Second half, starting now. Kind of a trend that's been noticed throughout all the OLTP games so far as well has been that there's been a lot of inconsistency between each game. There's always been a slow half, or a low scoring, or a close half going into a, or coming out of a high scoring half has a really big score difference between the two teams, and that was definitely a closer, lower scoring half than people would have expected. So we might, if that trend continues, might see a bit of a high scoring, bit more of the Ballbusters that were expected. This half, good handoff from Acti to Letty. Letty being a bit tricky. Can't quite make that split work though, to get past Dokugan and Majestic Moose. Dokugan very barely getting past, and Vexation pulling a biscotti on his flag carrier, bumping Dokugan past into the defenders. It was really good work from Dokugan to get past those defenders. Vexation just undid it all in the space of a quarter of a second. It's a bit unfortunate. Not really much you can do, I know. Don't worry. Fortunately, communication perhaps just wasn't there from when Dokugan calling out when he was coming into base. 2 tag pros and a juke juice for the Ballbusters. They're just not got the puck control that they had last half. Now they've got a double tag pro escort and only one person to beat. Dokugan just needs to get returned. He's got no boost available to him, barely makes it out in time. Still got to be a return for cap scenario as Nigel waits there with that tag pro escorting. Acti probably shouldn't be on regrab in that kind of scenario. Vexation does get enough stuff in the end, so I guess I'm eating my own words right now. Dokugan still holding that flag. Dokugan's been going on in the past week about how he might be, or past couple of weeks, how he might be switching to offense. He's been getting some good offensive plays. I told him he shouldn't. Maybe it's time to take that back as well, as he's still just dancing around those circles, chasing Acti. And actually prevented that cap single-handedly against those 2 tag pros and that juke juice. So credit to Dokugan for getting some good hold in there. Fortunately, Majestic Moose can't quite replicate the same effort. Another round of pups respawning. Vex is in good position to get that tag pro. Nigel does get it in the end. That's all that sumo wrestling going to work. Letty ahead of 2, not getting it through the gate. Good communication to get Scant on that button. In fact, Steven Seagal had the communication where Letty was going before Ballbusters did. As activation comes in again against a tag pro, Dokugan's in position. Skent was able to get on that button to cover Letty before Whiskey Jack was able to defend against the button control from Skent. So although we didn't quite get to hear what the communication differences were like from that listening, you can certainly see it in action. Letty making it past very barely, making it up around up the top. Vexation is there to say no thank you. Activation wants to get past Majestic Moose and he's not going to be able to either. So perhaps that high scoring and low scoring half theory is going to be disproven now, because we still haven't got a cap in the first 3 minutes of the game. And maybe part of that is from Letty and Acti just not quite making the jukes that they were able to in the last half. That was a good example of it there. Dokugan with the tag pro. Managed to defuse. That was really unfortunate that Ballbusters both got rolling bombs defused. Dokugan gets a kill with the tag pro on the gate. Not even really putting the tag pro advantage to use anyways. Letty's got 1 to beat. Not going to be an issue though for Dokugan, who has the flag and no contention. Skent, good snipe. Now the tables have turned. Whiskey Jack's looking to hold the flag for as long as he can. Make sure Dokugan can't cap. They got regrab anyway and a kiss. block from Whiskey Jack and Letty on Vexation will lead to a cap to activation to bring the aggregate score so far to 5-3. Pretty... Oh, Nigel coming into the base. Not quite making that cap. That was a lot more exciting. The first cap from, I believe that was Whiskey Jack, wasn't quite as exciting. Letty can't quite get the split still. But a cap's a cap. Doesn't matter how exciting it is or how many tricky dukes there are. It might just be a bit of a sigh of relief as well for the Ballbusters, who have maybe got a bit of ego on the line as well now. Dokugan coming in for the cap. Needs a return on Letty, but is going to go for a kiss anyway. Gives a handoff to Nigel. The supposed top team of the season, Ballbusters, up against the supposed botted team. Whiskey Jack, nice split. But they're bringing the fight to him. They're not making an easy granted win for them. Whiskey Jack has just got to get past Scan. Just nudges that little corner on the gate. Oh, that's really unfortunate. And Skent's out ahead as well, so if Dokugan can close in and get that return on activation, there's the convergence from the Ballbusters to get them into position anyway, and make sure that they can prevent the cap, even if they don't have regrab. Pup control, no one's there for it. Neither of the teams have called out that pup control. And Trick Juice for Ballbusters and a tag pro for Steven Seagal. I think that's a rolling bomb for Ballbusters that got defused. Dokugan staying alive, doing good for his team. I still don't think we've really seen a real reset this half either. Getting those teams back in the base. A couple of times when the flag was in base for more than a few seconds, but they always get flag quite back out pretty quickly. Whiskey Jack barely missing a snipe, making himself look silly. Dokugan's just got to get it past Letty. Tricky boost to get into base. It doesn't earn him a cap, earns him some skill points anyway. Activation is not going to be able to get a cap against that take pro and Trick Juice, so there's more pup control from Steven Seagal. I'm not sure who would be responsible for most of the pup control happening on that team. Acti has usually been notorious for being perhaps the best at the server when it comes to it, certainly getting the most of them. But that's certainly not happening in this game. They are being shown up, I think, in that regard. Dokugan can make a cap happen, potentially. Force blasting from Vexation, very nice. Gets in position to put Whiskey Jack out of the way. There's only one cap difference between the top team in OLTP and the bottom team in OLTP. People won't be calling them those things anymore after this game, I don't think. Skent just needs an offensive partner so that he can put that tag pro to work. That would get them in the lead. This completely and totally unbiased commentary is brought to you by Not As Pilaquator. Acti needs to get returned to get Skent. A cap doesn't quite happen, just half a second too late. Dokugan might have been going for a kiss there, but I think it ended up putting his team out of position, or him and Moose out of position rather. Three to beat, only two to block. One of them goes for the flag. Vexation, probably not the smartest move from him. I think he knows it. I don't need to remind him. Activation coming into base. Letty's not got the button. Letty does have a bit of a nudge to put Acti into the spike though. Dokugan with a clean grab, not quite making it work. Skent trying to make it out of base, and there you go, there's more pup control. That's actually a win. As Skent comes into the base, that was really, really close. Acti was a little out of position going for the bomb, I think it was, or the portal. But there's pup control going back into Ballbusters' favour this round. Activation has got 3 to beat now. That's a kiss from Skent, smart move. 1:30 left. So things are getting very hasty very quickly. As Dokugan's Steven Seagal. Really just want to get that one cap to put him on the table, get him a point in the leaderboard. There's a bit of a cheeky play from Nigel in activation as well, teaming up on Skent and getting that button kill. It's a lot harder to do than it looks, but it does look silly when you do it. One power-up round left. Skent gets a clean grab while Whiskey Jack and Nigel are going for the pups. Acti's got a tag pro though. Letty's out of position. Skent's coming into the base, idling on the boost. Very tricky, very sneaky. Tried to use the portal in whatever way he could, but couldn't quite make it work. A tag pro escort. Again, tables are flipped. Smart kiss from Vexation. Was that somebody subbing out? Was that Whiskey Jack refreshing again? That's Lewiston 10 seconds. That's going to be a 3v4 until he's back in. Majestic Moose with the Juke Juice, barely slips past Whiskey Jack, ahead of 3-1 to beat, just hits the corner. That was really unfortunate, slowing him down. Maybe I am starting to be a little bit biased, I'm sorry, I acknowledge it, that means I'm not biased. I really do love an underdog. 14 seconds left this half, activation getting returned by Whiskey, so they got 3 to beat, and Whiskey Jack is being very careful and very slow to make sure that they just don't concede. That's the #1 priority. Dokugan's coming in, this is going to be their last opportunity to cap, not going to make it work. That's a return, that's a convergence. To give the Ballbusters the win, 5-4 on aggregate. Very close and very low scoring game. There's some good plays in there. I think from the second half, maybe Ballbusters let themselves go a little bit. Also fair, Steven Seagal perhaps did as well. That was a good, nice, close game. Want more of those in OLTP. I think we're starting to get. So that was a really good game, I think, to watch. And perhaps not the cleanest of victories, but Ballbusters certainly will take whatever victory they get. Dokugan,
Hey, what's up?
congrats on your win. People are going to be eating their own words after you brought that game so close to them. What went so well for you? How were you able to bring that game so close to them, even though you were such massive underdogs going into it?
I don't fucking know. We were like all over the place. I think the team was just playing badly. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
So you don't want to take too much credit for it?
I mean, we're playing alright, but we were just getting caps. I don't know.
You also got a couple of good individual holds yourself that saved a couple of caps in a few instances.
I know,
Is
right?
that switch to offense going to be happening now after that game? That kind of performance?
I don't think so, but I really like offense. Maybe next season, who knows?
Whiskey Jack. Welcome. Congrats on your win, although it was a very slim margin. As I was just saying, you were the favourites going into this game. I think for a lot of people, that result was probably a lot closer than they expected. Is that still a comfortable and okay win for you, even though it's only by 1 cap?
No. That was scary the whole time. I don't know. Yeah, we just didn't play very well. We couldn't contain them on D.
That's what I said.
And they kept a solid recurve chain going, so. On lagging out on the last minute didn't help.
It was also
I was so
That was
annoyed then.
especially scary.
I was like, please, let's get a cap. He's got like 40 seconds left.
It's good fun to watch,
awesome
though.
game. Yeah, I bet.
Hopefully we don't play like that the rest of the season.
So is that one to forget then?
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. Congrats on your win regardless, that keeps you undefeated. And that also keeps Steven Seagal
Bottom?
winless, on the bottom of the table.
Is everyone
I
one
count
point
that
higher
as a-
than us?
Like, someone said we should get a point for that just because we nearly beat the #1 team, you know?
Were they rated the best as well?
Yep.
Ha! We should have won.
Fuck.
Oh, it might have been Flag Bearers. I think it was Ballbusters. We're talking
We-
pre-season ratings.
We lost by 1 to Ballbusters, and we lost by 1 to the Flybearers. Come on. Give us a chance.
You guys are doing well. If you guys can keep that kind of form, and maintain a solid lineup like that throughout the rest of the season, you'll get some wins in.
Maybe if we just
Nice
scrimmage
bit.
a bit. Come on.
Dokugan.
No, I scrimmed like all
Dokugan's
during
been
the week.
scrimming all week, man. Where have you been? Where have you
Yeah,
been?
where's my team?
Oh, wait,
Fucking
chuck me a
ed-
message. I'll jump on if I can.
Okay,
Speaking of, I'll check what time my next week's game is.
probably 8. I'm guessing.
As in my nipple.
I don't know if we're still live, but that's to conclude OLTP Season 6 Round 3 on TRANSILIO. Quite an exciting round. Thank you for watching. Tune in next week.